That's off the beginning. My name's Angelo. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Lorena Bobbitt. You're going to Lorena Bobbitt me?
Nah.
Here's my favorite joke from this is when I was a little kid in the early 90s.
This is live, bro. What the hell are you doing?
Let's intro. Is what it is.
Hey, how you doing, guys? This is
Here,
We
just
Want
let me
Picks.
get the
My
joke.
name is
Let
the
me get the
Freckle
joke out.
Salamander.
Let
This
me
guy
get the joke
above
out.
me is a clown that doesn't.
Okay, muted. What did Jeffrey Dahmer say to Lorena Bobbitt? This is a joke from the 90s.
You already told me this joke. I can't remember the punchline because it was so bad.
You could eat that? She cut off her husband's schlavagolts. No. My name's Angelo, and welcome to We Want Picks. Jacob and I are going to break down the entire UFC Vegas 63 fight card. We're going to give you our picks, our predictions, our bets, and our fantasy plays. But before we jump in, head on over to WeWantPicks.com and become a premium member. Premium membership is only $10 a month. You get access to all of our bets, all of our picks, all of the insight. We do DraftKings player ranking, DraftKings ownership projections, DraftKings scoring projections, a DraftKings optimizer. This week, we actually have a ton of bets, and you, thank you very much, started doing early research.
Oh.
You're sending bets for 281.
We are loading them up. We're at 282.
Very surprised.
We're at 281.
No, I genuinely appreciate
that. In the distance. No, we're feeling good about our future bets. We'll see.
Well,
we're not feeling good about the Anderson Silva one, I'll tell you that. But yeah, it's a different.
I actually still do feel good about that. But anyway, WeWantPicks.com, become a premium member. It's only $10 a month. $10 a month. That means if we have one mediocre weekend, you could pay for an entire year or multiple years worth of membership. It is $10 a month. That's $2.50 a week. If you don't want to become a premium member on our website, you can do that here on YouTube. Just click the join button under the video. You'll see two tiers. One is called premium membership. Sign up there. It's a little bit more than 10 because Google takes a fat chunk, but all the same content except the optimizer. Become a premium member. And if you want $50 for free, all you need to do is go to WeWantPicks.com/bets. Sign up with any one of our betting partners, make a deposit, and we will send you $50 as a thank you. We got like 200 something requests for UFC 280. We're still working through those. If you didn't get paid, let me know. I'll make sure you do. WeWantPicks.com/bets. Sign up, make a deposit. We'll send you $50. You have something to say?
Yep. Yeah, real quick before we get into the fight breakdowns, I need to thank a couple people. Revenant, you'll see him in the chat every once in a while, sent me a nice note to me and Angelo. We appreciate that. Also sent me a Ryan Hall card. It's going to be hard to see, but this is like a real deal Ryan Hall, numbered to something, 1 of 10. So this is really cool.
1 of 10.
And then Pepe. Yeah, 1 of 10. It's right. It's the real deal. And then Pepe, you see Pepe in the chat. He's been donating like crazy, and he sent a bunch of cards. This one I'm definitely keeping for myself. This is a signed Ryan Hall 50-50 card. We appreciate that. And then he gave a bunch of cards that we are going to give away in the future at some point. These are a bunch of UFC 280 fighters. They came a little bit late for UFC 280 giveaways, but this is a Sean O'Malley autograph. This is a Dariush. Very rare card. Here's a Dillashaw autograph card. Here is a Aljo, very rare card. Here is a...
Okay, come on.
And then here's the Sean Brady as well. So that was Bilal and Sean Brady back to back. But we appreciate that. We're going to be giving those away. So look out for those if you guys are interested in those cards. We appreciate that. Revenant and Pepe, unnecessary and very, very grateful. Just like everyone that signs up for premium membership as well. Not only are you getting something in return, but you are also supporting the stream. We appreciate everyone that signs up for that. So had to get that out of the way. And we're ready to make some money this week.
Yeah, no, thank you all for sure. And then obviously OG Jesse chilling in the chat, who's been nothing but supportive from day one as well.
Absolutely.
So thank you all very much. And we get a lot of requests. Hey, can we send you stuff? We'll probably set up a P.O. box soon, and people can send Anthrax, whatever else they want to send. This card is opening up with 2 brand new fights. We've had a couple of fights fall through. We went from 11 fights to 9. We are back to 11. So we're going to go ahead and break all these down. I have a quick picks video. Jacob has a quick picks video. This is our video together. It's going to be less formal than the other two, but these first 2 fights we haven't broken down yet. So opening up the UFC Vegas 63 card, we have Christian Rodriguez taking on Josh Weems. This was literally put together like 4 hours ago. There's not odds for it anywhere, at least not at the time of the filming. Christian Rodriguez is a 7-1 overall. He's 4-1 in his last 5. He is coming off a loss in his short notice UFC debut. And Josh Weems is making a short notice UFC debut at 10-2. He's 4-1 in his last 5. He is riding a 2-fight win streak, and that was after a failed Contender Series bid last year. Christian Rodriguez, he's a slick striker. He's got solid movement, good speed. He's got pretty good takedown defense. He does bounce between 35 and 45. I believe this fight is going to be at 35, but he was already...
Did you say there's not odds? Because there are odds.
There weren't like a half hour ago.
Well,
what are
there's
they?
right now, and Christian is a minus 310.
Okay, and that makes sense. Spoiler alert. But Christian Rodriguez, he bounces between weight classes. He does have good takedown defense at 60%, but his UFC debut was against Jonathan Pierce, who took him down 8 times. But that was at 145. He's now at 135. He was actually able to take Jonathan down a couple times as well, which is not an easy task. Josh Weems is stepping up on short notice. This is his UFC debut. He's got 2 wins in a row in the regional scene. Before that, he lost to Fernie Garcia on the Contender Series. But if you watch that fight, so if you look at Tapology, you're going to say, oh, he was knocked out. If you watch that fight, he actually looked pretty good. He's a busy striker, solid footwork, good versatility. He uses low kicks really well to set up combos, and then he'll just jab and work to the head. Everything ends with a big strike to the head. Every combination, whether he starts it with kicks or jabs. He's a well-rounded guy, but mostly a striker. I got to go with Weems here. Or sorry, I'm not going with Weems here. I was going to say, I appreciate that Weems is in the UFC. I think he deserves to be here. I don't want to say he got a bad break on Contender Series because that was a flat out, he got knocked out. That was legitimate. But he brings the fight. I appreciate his fighting style. If this was a full camp, it would be a different breakdown, I think. But Christian Rodriguez, with the ability to grapple, the fact that he's been booked this whole time, and this is extreme short notice. This isn't like, 2 weeks. This is like, who knows what his weight will be.
You got to start your weight cut as you're signing the contract.
It's crazy. Yeah, this is very, very short notice. So I do like Christian Rodriguez here. If this is a full camp, I might feel a little differently, but those odds feel right.
Yeah, I kind of followed you in the same way where I watched that Contender Series fight versus Garcia, and I thought, oh, this guy he's pretty legit. The way he bounces in and out, you mentioned the kicks, especially against a flat-footed Garcia, where you watch Christian Rodriguez when he strikes, also a little bit flat-footed, has the same type of power that Garcia has. And you do kind of feel bad for Weems in that fight because the knockout shot wasn't like this, oh, he's got his chin up in the air, he's acting like an idiot. He was against the fence, his arm was up like this, and the guy just snuck a shot right behind his ear above his high guard that just dropped him, and he couldn't recover after that. But yeah, I mean, his striking looks good. I think he can definitely have some success early, chewing up that front leg of Christian as he was doing to Garcia in that fight versus a flat-footed fighter. And he's very, very well versed on the ground. Doesn't have the greatest takedowns. You see a lot of submission wins. A lot of those are coming off his back, right? So pulling guillotine, getting taken down. He's throwing up triangles. I don't think that's going to happen against Christian Rodriguez. You saw Jonathan Pierce basically give him everything he could handle in the submission game in that fight. Kept taking him down, kept threatening submissions, and Christian just kind of went through the motions and eventually was reversing positions, got Jonathan Pierce's back a couple times. So he's going to be well versed on the ground. So when I initially saw this, I saw Weems. I'm like, okay, this guy could be a live dude. And then I watched the Christian Rodriguez, Jonathan Pierce fight. I was like, okay, yeah, Christian should be able to handle anything Weems throws his way. Maybe, there might be some danger early, but he should be able to have the power and withstand anything in the grappling. So I saw the odds, and I agree with you. I saw the odds. I'm like, okay, yeah, that definitely makes sense. 3-1, somebody that's been preparing to fight for this week. And Weems, could end up being a guy. Usually when you have these short notice fights, they give you someone a little bit more manageable for your next fight as like a thank you, right, for taking this short notice. So glad he's in the UFC. I think he could eventually be a guy, but this is definitely a Rodriguez play all the way.
Yeah, 100%. The stats are interesting, though. If you look at the stats, so Weems only has, they actually each only have one fight to go off of. But Weems, in that one fight in the UFC, was landing at a rate of 7 significant strikes per minute before he got knocked out. He was winning that fight. Granted, it was short. He got knocked out pretty early.
I think there's a lot of those were kicks. But I mean,
but no, these are significant strikes. Yeah, these are not total strikes. They're significant strikes.
Right. But I think they were heavy leg kicks, so it is a significant strike. But it's not like he was like teeing off on him and stuff like that. But I agree.
But he was the one pushing the pace. Yeah, he pushed the pace.
Yeah.
He looked really good.
He looked great.
He got cracked. And I was actually surprised they assigned they signed Fernie for that win. Like, yes, he won the fight, he got a knockout, but he was backpedaling the whole time and then landed a solid punch. So I was surprised he's got signed. But anyway, we're pretty aligned here. Pretty straightforward pick. Christian Rodriguez is the pick here. Josh Weems is very good. He does belong in the UFC. This is super, super short notice here. So there's probably going to be, some problems there. And I don't think he was booked for another fight. So it's not like it was a quick pivot for him. So anyway, I'm not going to bet this fight. I see people in the live chat saying, is he a parlay piece? He could be. I just, Christian Rodriguez is still 0-1 in the UFC. We're not talking.
Right now, I think he's the biggest favorite on the card right now.
This whole card is 2-1. Yeah, this whole card's 2-1.
Yeah, and this is one of those, and let me preface this. By the way, if you think you're going to make money this week on the UFC, go ahead and like the stream. Let's get some likes on the stream. But I'm telling you right now, and I mentioned in my breakdown, I don't know if you mentioned the same, this is definitely one of those weeks where it's listen to the analysis, not necessarily the picks, because there's a lot of favorites we don't feel great about. We're probably going to pick a lot of favorites, but we don't feel great about it, and there's certain positions where the underdogs can win the fight. So listen to analysis, and then make your bets off the analysis, not necessarily the black and white picks. So that's just my little disclaimer. I don't know if you feel the same, but...
No, I do feel. Listen. I always feel the same. We give you guys all of our picks. Premium members get every single bet. Non-members get some of the bets. And I know people want to just copy paste, right? You just want to copy paste the bet. You just want to tail the bet. I totally get that. The reality is, do some of your own research. Do some of your own analysis. We're not giving you financial advice. When we give you bets, those are our bets. That's what I'm doing with my money based on my opinion, the research that I've done. You should do your own, listen to what we're saying, and then make your own decision at the end. This is the type of card where a lot of people are going to have a rough weekend. I think we found some really good spots because we went heavy with safety net prop bets. So there's a lot of good spots there. Money lines are tricky this week for sure.
Yeah, the live betting for the live stream Saturday is going to get a little squirrely, I'll tell you that. I'm going to be live Saturday watching the prelims with you. I'll do the live bets as I normally do, and they're getting a little squirrely, so we'll see what happens. We got Ansi, by the way, became a premium membership for 9 months. They have the best analysis for fights out there. We appreciate you, Ansi. You're in here week after week supporting the stream, as many of you are, and we appreciate every single one of you.
Ansi was
especially
here,
the members. We appreciate the members more.
Ansi's been here so long that we had so few members, I was able to read them at the end of a video. And he's one of the names that I was reading a year and a half ago. A year ago.
There's a lot of OGs in here. And Ansi's 100%. One of them.
And we appreciate every single one of you. Next up, at UFC Vegas 63, we have the second completely reshuffled fight. Another short notice fight. This was put together yesterday, which is Monday. We got Cody Durden taking on UFC newcomer Carlos Mota. This is an interesting one because while it's short notice, Carlos Mota opened as a good-sized favorite, even though he's just stepping up out of nowhere making his UFC debut. Cody Durden's 13-4 overall, 2-2-1 in his last 5, and he's coming off the KO win over JP Bays. Carlos Mota, 8-1 overall, 4-1 in his last 5, and he's coming off an LFA title win about 2 months ago, and he is making his UFC debut. Cody Durden, he's a wrestler. He throws big looping punches to close that distance, then get the takedown. His takedown accuracy is just shy of 40%, which is low, but he averages more than 4 takedowns per fight, which is high, and that just means he's a chains wrestler. He's just going from takedown to takedown to takedown. He's going to miss the first, miss the second, work on the third, and then go from there. He's 2-1 in the UFC, but he's coming off that destruction of JP Bays where he knocked him out on his feet with his hands. So he did show us that he has got that one-punch KO power. Carlos Mota is stepping up on short notice. He is making his UFC debut. He's the current LFA flyweight champion, and he won that belt about 2 months ago. He's a pretty versatile guy. He's got power in his hands. He's got wrestling. He's got BJJ. His striking is fast. He's got, again, power, and he mixes that in with boxing and kickboxing. He's got really well-timed takedowns if he uses them, and that's usually off his opponent's attacks, meaning his opponent will finish a combo and he'll shoot a takedown. His opponent will leave the jab out there a little too long and he'll shoot a takedown. He's not typically ending his own combinations with takedowns. So they're not defensive takedowns.
No, sorry. I was going to say, that's kind of how I do it when I'm at the bar. I kind of wait for their attack. I counter. They're on the ground. So I don't start fights. I finish them.
That sounds about right. It's my favorite comments are always people who, because we're just both sitting in chairs, who would win in a fight between Angelo and Jacob.
Yeah, if you're in the chair right now, what do you think the odds would be?
We just need a picture of like the movie.
You're looking at me, and you're looking at him.
We just need a picture like the movie Twins, with me standing normal with my elbow on your head while you're standing normal.
Let's see the odds.
Really put it in perspective.
There's nobody that's better at finishing dudes than me. If there's a dude in front of me, they're getting finished.
I know exactly
yeah.
what you mean. Listen, Cody Durden is a plus 150 underdog. I think he wins this fight. I fully recognize how talented Carlos Mota is, but similar to the last fight, short notice mattered. The dude stepped up on a Monday, which means he's traveling out there Tuesday. Wednesday, Thursday is all weight cut, weigh in Friday. Like, there's been zero time to do anything other than get in shape. You're fighting a wrestler. So I'm going Cody Durden here. Pretty confident in that, even though he's an underdog. And before we switch over, we got to be $20 super chat from Pepe Sylvia. Bilal got lucky. All due respect, I need for more freckled salamander, less Jacob, who can't lose. Listen, Pepe. Appreciate you very much. Very generous. Shut up.
Well, Pepe's my guy, and this comment was for me. So, and let me just say, do you agree with me or disagree with me, Angelo, that was a little bit of a weird stoppage for Sean Brady? Can we admit that was a weird stoppage for Sean Brady? It was a standing KO, but he was defending himself. He was never knocked down. He was never.
That's actually where I'll disagree. I think they could have let it keep going, but he was not defending himself, and nothing was changing. That's why.
There was like 10 seconds left in the round, and most refs let that go to the end of the round. The most disappointing part was Sean Brady not even disputing the thing. So he didn't even think that it was an early stoppage. Normally, at least they're like, oh, what are you doing? He was like, oh, I'm getting the shit beat out of me. And for everyone that's saying that Bilal dominated that fight, Sean Brady won the first round on the judges' scorecard. That was a very 50-50 fight.
You know what's funny about that fight?
At the end. Get this comment out of my face right now.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Pepe. Thank you, Pepe. I picked Bilal to win. But when I saw... Bilal didn't shoot a takedown at all, but at some point he was like, they were like in a scramble or something, and Sean Brady just like shoved his shoulders, just like bullied him backwards, and Bilal fell down.
That wasn't the. Oh, I think it was.
It was that fight, and it was early in the first round.
It was like a bad takedown attempt, and
but Bilal didn't shoot the takedown.
I think Sean Brady shot the takedown. Yeah. He's the only one that shot the takedown. I think the strategy for Bilal and Dariush were the exact same thing. Don't shoot takedowns because you could lose scrambles and you could just win the fight by not shooting takedowns. And I mean, Bilal did that perfectly. Didn't shoot a takedown because I thought he could lose a scramble. And Dariush did the same thing. But
we're way off topic. No, I do.
You're the one that started down this path, and I just kept going.
No, the comment did, Pepe.
No, you're the one that was like, oh, talking about the shove and stuff. So I started talking about the shove, and now we're off topic.
Anyway, Cody Durden, I think he wins in the underdog spot here. What do you think?
You're like confident in Cody Durden.
Because of the short notice, and I think he's just going to wrestle, and 1 to 10?
5 being 50-50, 10 being
70% sure I think he wins.
So I picked Cody as well, but I don't love it. I mean, 1 to 10 for me is like a 3. He's got to survive, man. He has got to survive.
You can't say it's got to be more than a 50-50 because you picked him to win. If you give him a 30, that means the other dude's a 70.
0 means he's not going to win. 2 means it's 50-50 is 5. 3, anything above a 0 means
do it this way. Do it. You have 100.
No, I do it my own way. I do it my own. No, you're not going to tell me how to pick fights. He's a 3 on this scale. Okay. I think he needs to survive the opening couple minutes, get those early takedowns, and then maybe he can wear on the gas tank of Mota. Mota is the real deal. It's going to come in with some real power. We've seen Dirt. I can't stand Cody Durden. There's a reason I picked against him for lock of the week. I don't think he's that good, but he does have the wrestling that he can wear people down with. And we've seen Mota getting taken down before. In that Charles Johnson fight, LFA, Charles Johnson fought Micaiah, blah, blah, blah. He was taken down. Now, he was taken down in like the 4th and the 5th rounds, but that does mean that he can get worn down and getting taken down, and Cody is that type of dude to wear people down and take them down. So, we're both on the underdog here. You think he's like almost a lock, I guess, at 7?
No, but my scale
I don't think it's, go ahead.
Listen, my scale, I was saying if there was 100 between two fighters, it's 70-30. That's what I was doing.
What?
There's two fighters. There's 100
You're saying
points.
If they fight 100 times, Cody wins 70 of them?
Sure.
Ooh.
No, because I'm factoring in short notice. Anyway, my point was, if it's 1 to 10, if I've already established Cody's the pick, how confident are you in that pick? Then I would say a 4 or 5. But in my scale, anything under a 5 means he loses. Get it? You get it. Don't pretend you're confused.
Wait, you said no. You just said 1 to 10.
I'm not going to allow it. I'm not going to let you
I
play
really
stupid.
am lost. Listen, my pick is Cody, and I don't love it. Angelo loves it. I don't love it. I'm not going to put money on Cody.
Yeah. I think short notice is a very real deal here, especially when you're talking wrestling, cardio, and things like that. I think Carlos Mota, similar to the fight we just broke down, belongs in the UFC, earned his spot. I think he'll do well in the UFC, but short notice against a nonstop wrestler, I think he may. I think he's going to get tired. I think he'll come out hot, throw big, look for a finish, not get it. Cody, wrestle. So, anyway, DraftKings, 7,700, 8,500. I think Cody's obviously a great underdog at 7,700.
I think that's pretty good value. I think we can agree with that.
Yeah. Okay. No monkey knife fight strike line just yet. Guys, you want $50? WeWantPicks.com/bets. Sign up with any one of our betting partners. Make a deposit. We'll send you $50 as a thank you. And if you want to be a premium member, we would greatly appreciate it. Not only is it just a way to show your support, but you also get all the bets, all the picks, a DraftKings optimizer. If you don't know what that is, it literally builds lineups for you. It's pre-populated every Friday with ownership projections, scored projections, like how many points they think each fighter will score. It pre-populates, you click a few buttons, bang, here's your lineup, go make some money. And before I move on, I announced a new DraftKings giveaway today. So anybody, you don't need to be a premium member, anybody, if your profile picture is the We Want Picks logo and you win a contest, any contest, doesn't need to be ours, tweet it to us. We'll enter you into the giveaway. Then we will just a random draw for all the people who tweeted us. And winner gets $50. Just got to win a contest. Change your profile pic. What's up, bro? How you doing,
Change your
bro?
life. Change your life. Just real quick, I mentioned Anderson Silva earlier. Apparently, he said that he's gotten knocked out twice in sparring, getting ready for Jake Paul. That's what is Anderson Silva a guy to just make stuff up like that, just to sandbag a fight?
No.
Because his team is denying it, but he said himself that he got knocked out twice in a sparring session for Jake Paul.
I mean, I actually am very interested in that fight. First of all, I want to see, I think we all want to see Jake Paul lose just for the fun of it. But the reality is, it is so much better if he wins. We can just keep watching these fights. And I love these stupid freak show fighting old washed up UFC fighters.
They deleted the tweet. That tweet is now gone.
What tweet? Where he said he was knocked out?
Yeah, and they re-uploaded it with the headline, Anderson Silva's last sparring session has controversial end. So maybe just to get more clicks, they changed it, I guess.
Okay. Next up, at UFC Vegas 63, we have little skinny baby boy Jace Hooper taking on Steve Garcia.
Well, no. That's not going to be the intro for my dude Chase. I mean, that is not going to be.
You could do your own when I'm done with mine. Chase Hooper's 11-2 overall, 3-2 in his last 5, and he's coming off an impressive third-round stoppage over Felipe Colares. Steve Garcia is 12-5 overall, 3-2 in his last 5, coming off the KO loss to Mahachete. We all know Chase Hooper, right? I've compared him to Mackenzie Dern a few times. I will say, I'll give him some credit. His takedowns are improving. He's at least improving. Where Mackenzie Dern, we don't see any improvement outside of her striking. Her striking continues to improve. Her grappling does not. Chase Hooper, phenomenal grappler. Very good off his back. And now it looks like he's evolving his wrestling. He's starting to grow a big boy body. Maybe he's getting a little stronger. Puberty's kicking in. He'll get a few chest hairs, and now he can actually take some people down. He's showcased in his last fight, got a couple takedowns, bumped his percentage up all the way to 27% takedown accuracy. But he's taking on Steve Garcia. And this is not the lock for Chase Hooper that a lot of people think it is. I think these odds are kind of crazy. You can wait. I think these odds are kind of crazy.
Everyone just mute him. Once you see him stop talking, unmute, and I'll let you know what's going on.
I think the problem is Steve Garcia is similar to that last older, tough veteran that beat the piss out of Chase Hooper. He's not an easy guy to put away. He can throw big, heavy. He can defend some takedowns if he needs to. He's got some decent speed. He definitely has big power. He's not afraid to mix it up. I think what a lot of people are seeing from Steve Garcia is he lost to Pena, right? And he was just backpacked the whole time, and people are saying, oh, look at the grappler he lost to. He's going to lose to another grappler. I think that was a different fight, so I do think Chase Hooper wins this fight. But if you go back to that Pena fight, Steve Garcia gave up 14 minutes of control time. 14 minutes of control time. In a 15-minute fight, he gave up 14 minutes of control time, and he never stopped throwing strikes. He never stopped trying to make something happen. He was throwing bombs. He just didn't quit and really tried to make that happen. And I think it's that kind of grittiness, that kind of toughness, that if he doesn't get submitted, he's going to be live the whole time. Chase Hooper is the pick. I think these odds are super wide.
Yeah, here's let me do this is my quick impression of Steve Garcia in his last fight. So he gets hit like this, and he just absolutely just face first into the canvas. He gets dropped in every single fight. The last fight was just brutal. just face first zombied into the canvas. I think this is a fight that Chase Hooper can find a KO, like an actual KO, not a TKO on the ground, an actual KO, because as you mentioned, Chase Hooper is basically Ryan Hall if Ryan Hall ever tried to do anything besides jiu-jitsu. He has the abilities of Ryan Hall on the ground, which is saying a lot. That is to say that you're in comparison at the tippy top of Ryan Hall, the best grappler in the UFC, is saying a lot. But he does have those abilities, and he is evolving not only the striking, but as you mentioned, the wrestling as well. And he's one of those guys that, yes, he is submission over position type guy. He's not a control wrestler. He's not going to stay there and control. He's always going to be searching for those submissions. But he also is not a guy that just stays off his back, right? If I worry about guys, especially against a guy like Steve Garcia who can wrestle, I would worry if Chase Hooper was a guy that's just, armbar triangle, let me just keep armbar triangle. He is a guy that will reach under, looking for leg locks to get back into a more advantageous position and then start looking for submissions. Yes, he will throw it up, but he's looking to try and get your back, to get on top, to do other submissions at a more high percentage than just throwing up triangles and throwing up arm bars like Paul Craig, right? We're all sick and tired of seeing the Paul Craig type jiu-jitsu fighters. Chase Hooper is not that jiu-jitsu type fighter. He's working scrambles, this and that, and he's working on a strike, and he's tough as hell. This dude is tough as hell. You look at him, you think, oh, if he gets punched in the face, like he's going down, he can get knocked down and still scramble around, and that's where he wants to be. The biggest part about this fight is Steve Garcia is very chinny. I think that Chase can hurt him on the feet with just like little baby shots, his little baby fists. There's no hair on his knuckles, just nice, just breezing through the air, hairless little knuckles. And Steve Garcia, when he gets hurt, he goes to his wrestling, and that's exactly what Chase Hooper wants you to do. A hurt guy coming in to his guard or whatever, that's when he's going to win those scrambles. So I think Steve Garcia gets hurt, and either Chase Hooper finishes on TKO, or he goes to his wrestling, and Chase Hooper is right there with the submission. I am very high on Chase Hooper this week. I have inside the distance on him, and I'm looking for other stuff as well. So it's Chase Hooper all the way, baby. And he retweeted me this week. Check out his Twitter. He retweeted me this week.
He retweeted you or just responded to you?
He responded and retweeted. Thank you.
Oh, congratulations to you and all your success. Listen,
what's Steve's path to victory? I don't know. Hopefully when he gets knocked out, he falls and headbutts Chase on his way down to the canvas, and they both get knocked out. That's about the only way he's going to win this fight.
Okay, I disagree. I don't think Steve wins, but he can just grit his way to a win, like the last Steve who beat Chase Hooper, Steve Peterson.
He can't grit his way to a win. He gets dropped every single fight.
Anyway, oh yeah, Chase Hooper with the wild Mike Tyson power. Shut the hell! Look at this kid. Look at this picture.
Have you seen the way that he strikes?
Look at this picture.
That picture's like 2 years old.
Oh,
have you seen him lately?
And now he's 15.
Let me pull up his OnlyFans. Here we go.
Grow up. What an absolute
Chase
joke.
Hooper does have OnlyFans. So
listen. Anyway, the bet I do have, I think Chase Hooper wins his fights. It's a stupid argument. The bet I do have on him is wins inside the distance decision, no action. We've been successful with that bet. I've placed that bet on Chase Hooper 3 times. Or this is the 3rd time I've placed that bet on him. It's cashed once. One was a refund. And we'll find out with this. Go ahead, show the pictures. Are we show how big he is now? How big and strong. Oh, I can't find it. Yeah, what a joke. Absolute joke.
This is like
of a
the greatest
person.
picture of all time, though, where he's just
Yeah,
like
it
just
is
standing
solid.
there awkwardly waving.
Yeah, no, that is solid. Listen, what do you think of DraftKings at $9,200? You think he gets a finish, so then he's worth it?
Hell yeah!
I'm not going to do Chase Hooper at $9,200.
But Chase is your pick, right?
Chase is my pick. Absolutely my pick. I think the odds are crazy. Therefore, he's also not going to be in my DraftKings
I
line.
think they're getting more wide too. Honestly,
They are. I got inside the distance decision no action and premium members have seen it. I forget the number, but it's less than this.
I got inside the distance at. Let me check it because it was moving too when I got it. Let me see. Hold on.
Well, you did inside the distance. I did decision no action.
which is stupid.
Okay,
I mean, just straight. I mean, that's straight up just a stupid bet. So
what a fucking joke. All of a sudden,
because you
Chase
got
Hooper's
odds
got
of
hands.
it's. I mean, that's minus. What did you get? This is minus 220,
I don't know. Let's see.
and I got plus. Where's mine?
I
Plus.
gotta log in now. Jesus Christ.
Where the hell did mine go?
I don't know. While you're doing that, the Monkey Knife Fight strike line 84 to 59. I think it's potentially a
They
less more
canceled all the
situation.
chase bets. They canceled the one that they messed up. I think they canceled all the chase bets because I don't even. Oh no, there it is. I got plus 120. So you got minus 200 for your inside the distance, and I got plus 120. So
Mine is inside the distance decision no
he's not
action.
going to lose a goddamn decision.
Okay.
You absolute clown.
Did you say the exact same things to the last Steve he fought? What a joke. Anyway, if you want to see all of our bets, Jacob's bets have been up there for a few days, as have mine. Become a premium member at WeWantPicks.com. It is only $10 a month. $10 a month. That's $2.50 a week. Again, we could have one mediocre weekend a year, and it would cover membership for the entire year. WeWantPicks.com. Become a member, only $10 a month. Jacob and I got a couple of bets on this fight. What do you think of that Monkey Knife Fight strike line? I think it might be a less more or a less for sure.
Steve Garcia, his last decision was not even. It was in the Fresquez Productions in 2018. That was his last decision win. So God bless you for chasing that money, but
Worst case scenario, I get a refund. Get over yourself. Absolute clown. Next up, at UFC Vegas 63, we have Joseph Holmes taking on Jun Young Park. Joseph Holmes, 8-2 overall, 4-1 in his last 5, and he's coming off the great win over Alan Amadovsky. Jun Young Park is 14-5 overall, 4-1 in his last 5. He's coming off that controversial win over Eric Anders. This is another tricky fight. There's so many fights on so many fights on this card. I'm like, these odds are crazy. These odds are crazy.
They both
I do
suck.
think. Okay, we heard you the first time. Let's go through the motions.
Well, I just want to make sure. Well, I thought this was This was like now it's like the old podcast. You said you didn't want to do that.
I'm cutting to the chase much faster. I didn't read any notes. What are you talking about?
All right, let's look at the camera the whole time. Let's see how this goes.
Joseph Holmes is a massive 6'4" with an 80-inch reach, but he tends to stand upright and doesn't use his reach as well as he should. No, he's a huge dude. He proved in his last fight how dangerous he can be. His problem is he can be a little low volume. And when he does engage, he sticks and moves, and then he just tries to tangle you up and drag you to the ground. Jun Young Park will work in wrestling pretty often. He's not dangerous anywhere. He's not dangerous. He's not live for a submission. He's not live for a knockout. But he is busy. He's a higher volume guy. He will work in a bunch of takedowns. He beat people like Tefon Chukwi, who's a dangerous striker. Marc-Andre Barreau, who's a pretty well-rounded guy. And I think that's why he's a favorite here. I think 2-1's a bit much. I do think Park wins this fight, and I think it's because he'll come forward, he'll throw some volume, he'll work in some takedowns, where Joseph Holmes is going to be waiting. He's going to be gun-shy, playing that weight game, not letting his hands go. On the ground, he doesn't look to stand up. He uses his long arms and legs to try to work submissions. You're not going to catch Park in one of those. So I think Park's going to win this fight. 2-1 odds are a little wide. A lot of these fights feel that very same way, but I do like Park here. What do you think?
This chapstick, by the way. Somebody asked me what Juul is. Like I'm sitting here vaping a Juul. Yeah, like I said, I think both these guys suck. I think minus whatever it is for Park, he should definitely be the favorite because he is probably the less sucky fighter. but it should be like minus 150. I mean, minus anything over minus 200 for Park against whoever it is crazy because he's just not a dangerous fighter. He just kind of like methodically goes about his business. He'll defend takedowns, and he does enough to win fights, and I think he can do enough to win this fight, which is why he's going to be my pick. I'm not laying that type of money on Park. I'm not putting him in parlays. What I did do is put decisional action money on Holmes. We mentioned the inside the distance decisional action. I think this is a perfect spot for Holmes for inside the distance decisional action because Park is not a super dangerous guy. Could just outpoint Holmes just like Jamie Pickett did. I mean, anytime you lose a decision to Jamie Pickett, you know, that's not a good look. And I know that he won his last fight versus Allen, but Allen is a guy... Well, Allen was coming off a 3-year layoff, and it looked like he didn't even want to be there. We just saw Allen in his last fight again. Looked like he didn't want to be there. I think he was just there collecting checks. He didn't even have hooks in on a rear naked, and Allen was just like, oh, what do I do now? And like, oh, can I go home now? Like it would. So that was a win, and he did what he needed to do, but that was not against a real UFC type opponent. This is, you know, a real opponent. But he should be the more dangerous guy. I mean, he literally should be the more dangerous guy. If it gets to the ground, that's where he succeeds and can maybe find something weird. So I'm not going to put my money anywhere except for Holmes being the more dangerous guy inside the distance decisional action. I fully expect to just get my money back. I fully expect to Park to win a boring decision versus a not very good fighter in Holmes, but if he gets to the ground and he finds that weird submission, I get paid on it. I can't remember what the odds were on that, but yeah, I think this is a coin toss fight, but Park should have the experience and be able to point his way to a decision win.
I think Holmes is a lot better than you're giving him credit for. He's super long, and he uses his length really well on the ground. He just doesn't use it that well on his feet.
A decision to Jamie Pickett,
who's also stupid long. Jamie Pickett's also like 6'5" or something.
Absolutely sucks.
All right, well, you're the one saying it, and I'm the one who takes these videos and tweets them to the fighters because we don't hide behind the screen.
What are they going to do, beat me up? They're professional fighters. I'd hope they can. Although I don't know if some of these guys can.
I bet.
I'm not tapping. I'll tell you that. Good luck. I go out on my shield.
I definitely, just like... If this was a sitcom, it would just click to you like bubble snot.
I got those Paul Felder. I got these Paul Felder ones right there. Yeah.
People watch this and they're legitimately convinced that you could do something. And that's just that's the worst part about all this to me. That's literally
those are fast. I bet they didn't even see my elbows moving.
Probably not. $6,900 to $9,300. Jungwon Park's not worth 93, and I know that was the consensus as soon as this pricing dropped. He could potentially score pretty well if he just has a ton of takedowns and control time, but you know, without the real possibility for a stoppage, $9,300 is a lot of money. But frankly, he could score 90 some odd points just with 4 takedowns and a bunch of control time, but I'm not going to do it.
Yeah, people are mentioning the chest hair and the mustache. That's a double whammy for Holmes. We talked about it in the live streams. Actually, Bilal had chest hair, and I mean, it was an early stoppage, but I think he won that fight. I can't remember what.
But he also had back hair. I thought he
said didn't.
Only chest hair.
No, he didn't.
He didn't have back hair?
We saw that live. Oh. No back hair. Very, very surprising. I think he waxes it. It looks smooth. You wax yours?
I'm pretty hairless naturally for a
I'd
wild
like to see
Guido.
you prove it. I'd like to see you prove it. Well, let's see the back. Oh! Look at the tattoos. Look at this guy. We're looking for back hair, though.
There's definitely no hair on my back. Anyway, Monkey Knife Fight Strike Line, 48 to 85. That's a wide strike line. That's got to be because of the takedowns. I think it's a more or less. Potentially more because it's going to be a full 15 minutes. What do you think?
I honestly think that this is Joseph Holmes just hanging on Park against the cage because Park will do that. I mean, if you push him against the cage, he will stay against the cage. I could see Holmes just kind of looking for takedowns but can't ever get the takedowns, and it's a boring fight. So I don't like the 85. I think it's definitely a less, and the 48, it could be a less too. I don't know, man.
You know what I just noticed about his tattoo right here? It's supposed to say, I can do all things through Christ. There's no space between can and do. There's no space between can and do. It says, I can do. C-A-N-D-O, one word. And you can see, it looks like he's trying to get it.
I think it's condo. I condo all things through Christ.
And my realtor.
He must be a realtor, yeah.
Anyway.
Those realtors, man, slime balls, huh?
That bunch of weasels. What a
That was my favorite part when I was watching The Watcher. I was like, I know why he loves this movie. I
have a bone to pick with realtors, which is why
Angelo, show your henna chest tattoo one more time.
That's going to wash off in 3 days. Anyway, we're pretty much aligned here on the pick. DraftKings, I'm not going to touch either side. Monkey Knife Fight's probably a more because this is most likely a 3-round decision. The over on rounds is a very expensive price point. Guys, I would give Monkey Knife Fight a shot on this. Go to weonpicks.com/MKF. If you sign up, they will instantly match your deposit. You give them 100, they'll give you 100. Give them 50, they'll give you 50. Sign up, make the deposit, let them match it. Play some of these lines. And if you win, great. It's their money. You get even more. If you lose, it's their money. You didn't lose any of your own. Next up, at UFC Vegas 63, they buried an all-time heavyweight. Andrei Arlovski versus Marcos Rogerio de Lima is on the undercard. It's not even the featured prelim. It's just a prelim fight. Andrei Arlovski 34-20. 34-20
You want this
overall.
on the main card? Your vote for all these fights is you want this one on the main card.
Yeah. What's going to be a better fight? This or Josh Fremd versus Tresean Gore? Because that's on the main card.
I know. I think that one could be very exciting.
Absolutely.
We'll talk about that later, but I think that one could be very exciting. Heavyweights are awful, man.
Andrei
Absolutely
Arlovski's
awful.
a straight-up
I think
legend.
if you weigh over 220 pounds, you should be put out to pasture, not even be a part of society. How much do you weigh, Angelo?
About 227. 255. Andrei Arlovski's 34-20 overall, 4-1 in his last 5. He is coming off that controversial decision over Jake Collier. Marcos Rogerio de Lima is 19-8 overall, 3-2 in his last 5. And he's coming off of a close decision loss to Blagoy Ivanov. Listen, Marcos is the pick. He's the more dangerous fighter here. He's got big, heavy hands. He has offensive wrestling. He's got no jiu-jitsu off his back whatsoever. If he gets taken down, he's not going anywhere. But he can get takedowns. He can work on top. He's got big, heavy hands. So he's the pick. Andrei Arlovski's 43 years old. What worries me about Marcos as the pick is Andrei Arlovski has 20 years of experience. And the reason Marcos lost that fight against Blagoy, he had the only takedown in the fight. He landed more total strikes and more significant strikes. The only reason he lost that fight is because he let Blagoy hold him against the cage and rack up that control time. And Andrei Arlovski could literally do that exact same thing. He's a tried and true vet. He has no problem being boring. So that's what worries me, that Andrei could do that for sure. But I do think Rogerio wins this fight. Eventually, Andrei's going to start looking old as hell. I think he lost his last fight, even though I bet on him. So I think he'll lose this one as well. And he was taken down a few times in that fight, which I think surprised a lot of people. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, this is what it is. It's a 44-year-old versus somebody that's got a not 500 record, but 2-to-1 ratios wins and losses. But you mentioned, I mean, De Lima should have the power advantage, and that should be all that matters in this matchup. Arlovski somehow has found a chin in his last 6 or 7 fights. He was getting knocked out like crazy, and then at 40 years old, found his chin again. I have to imagine in this fight, it's going to get tested, and as you mentioned as well, at some point, he's going to keep losing. I mean, he's not going to be 50 years old still on this wild streak that he's on, which hats off to him. He resurrected his career, 6 of the last 7 fights. But if De Lima is hitting him the same way that Jake Collier was hitting him, Jake Collier is a former 185er, right? Maybe even 170.
Power.
I think a former
all volume.
All volume. And he had Andrei split open. He was touching him whenever he wanted, pretty much. It was a close back and forth fight. If De Lima with those big right hands touches Arlovski the same way that Jake was touching him, it's going to be. I have to imagine it's going to be lights out, but we'll see what happens. I'll probably be rooting for Andrei. It's hard not to root
100%,
for Andrei Arlovski,
how
but
could you not?
I gotta imagine that either this is a flash knockout type situation, or as you mentioned, one of those very boring, just 2 heavyweights against the cage, just sweating and breathing all over each other for 15 minutes, and that'll excite me, but not very many people. So, I'm going with De Lima. Yeah,
De Lima's not a low volume guy. He does move. He throws his hands. He's not a low volume guy. Neither one of these guys are low volume guys. So I don't think it'll be just a boring one punch fight. If it is boring, it's Andrei Arlovski holding De Lima against the cage. So we'll see what happens here. De Lima's going to be the pick. Again, it's probably...
Don't bet anything.
Yeah, it's maybe inside the distance
when you have
decision, no
when
action.
you have a 43-year-old in a fight, you don't know what the hell's going to happen.
Well, you know what I am going to bet? But this is the only prop line that hasn't dropped. Bet Online started doing takedown props, and they have two different takedown props. One is who's going to get more takedowns in this fight, and you just pick a person. The other is
we'll talk about that later.
The other is they set an actual line. They don't have either one for this fight because I'm going to go.
Checked it too. Yeah, it's not up there.
They only have 8 instead of 9. As soon as that drops, I'm going to hit Lima. I mean, we'll see what the number is, obviously, but I'm going to hit Lima on that because Andrei's not going to shoot a takedown. He's definitely not. Lima can and will. And we just watched Arlovski get taken down by Jake Collier. So when that drops, I'll take a look at it. If it's any better than minus 250, I'll probably hop on that. And a question for you guys, for premium memberships, right now there's an insane amount of content for premium members. Not only do we do all our picks, we do our picks for every single round, the over and unders. We have future bets, parlay. We have so much stuff. I'm debating adding something called, like bets to watch, bets to look for, things exactly like what I just mentioned. It's not out yet, so I couldn't possibly have placed it yet. But once I see the line for most takedowns, I'm probably going to hop on that. What are you laughing at?
Ezekiel said, Marcos looks like Captain Underpants. Shit. You must you would have laughed. I mean,
I do know who that is.
Nah,
we're both on the same page. I'm not going to do Arlovski in DraftKings. Even as a favorite, he's a terrible DraftKings play because he scores like no points whatsoever. If he wins this fight, he might score pretty well because it'll be control time against the cage. But again, we only have 11 fights to pick from, and I'm not loving a lot of them in DraftKings. But I will not have Andrei Arlovski, potentially Marcos de Lima. But, like you said, Arlovski's chin's been holding up. What do you think?
Yeah, no thanks. I think this seems like a very boring card. There's a lot of fights that seem like they're going to be boring, and I hope not, but DraftKings is going to be tricky this week. So, become a premium member and use the optimizer. It's going to be very important this week.
I actually agree with that. I'm usually the pitch man, but I do agree with that for sure. And the optimizer lets you build up to 150 lineups. So you can build 10 if you're not going to do 150, and then just sprinkle them in a bunch of 50-50s or double ups, and you'll make all your money back. No problem. No problem. I love 50-50s and double ups because I have to just be better than half the people. I will, 90% of the time, I'm better than half the people.
Ryan Hall is part of 50-50 Jiu-Jitsu.
Everybody wants to chase, and our buddy Joe Todoro got a $60,000 payout. I know that's the goal, but 50-50s and double ups how you make consistent money. Okay, put that down.
50-50, baby. How about that chest hair, huh? Incredible.
Yeah, that explains the loss. Monkey Knife Ice Strike Line, 71-78. Andrei Arlovski has been hitting that number, but I do think it's a less. And I'm pretty confident in that. What do you think of the Monkey Knife Ice Strike Line?
Yeah, I like that less.
Because it's either going to be most likely a knockout or grappling or held against the cage. So weonpicks.com/MKF. Sign up, make a deposit. They will instantly match your deposit. Take that free money, play some of these lines. The less here makes a lot of sense. Next up, at UFC Vegas 63, we have Phil Hawes taking on Roman Dolidze. This is one of the most interesting fights on this card.
Polarizing, too.
I'm actually very excited for this fight. Phil Hawes is 12-3 overall, 4-1 in his last 5. He's coming off that win over Duran win. Roman Dolidze is 10-1 overall, 4-1 in his last 5. And he's coming off that win over Kyle Dawkins. Listen, Phil Hawes, ridiculously good wrestler. We know that. D1, very accomplished wrestler. He also is a technical striker and has power in his hands, but he has no chin. Roman Dolidze, world champion grappler, world level grappler, not wrestler, grappler, jiu-jitsu. He does have power in his hands. He's not very technical striker, but he will come forward, throw bombs, very real power. He's a tough guy. He's a strong guy. He's a gritty guy. Both of these men are very, very good fighters. I like Phil Hawes to win this fight. I think Phil Hawes is I'm positive Phil Hawes is going to be the better athlete. So he's going to be faster. He'll probably be stronger. He's going to be the more technically sound striker, and he's the more well-rounded fighter. But his chin is an issue. And Roman Dolidze has no problem coming in, just throwing haymakers and seeing what lands and what doesn't land. and I know we're going to say, oh, wrestler versus world level jiu-jitsu. Roman Dolidze has phenomenal jiu-jitsu on top. If Phil Hawes takes him down, Roman's not throwing up a triangle and armbar and getting the finish. That's just not going to happen. So I do like Phil Hawes here. I'm pretty confident in him. I actually don't like this fight because I like both of these men and I want them both to do well on their own. I don't like that they're doing this matchup, but and also you see Roman Dolidze is 10-1. He's 11-0. That was a very. I saw people trashing him. Oh, you lost. This guy lost to Trevin Giles. You obviously didn't watch the fight because he did not lose to Trevin Giles. He beat Trevin Giles.
He is Trevin Giles was my lock of the week that week, and I got by the skin of my teeth on that one. Yeah, Roman Dolidze is definitely an undefeated fighter, and as you mentioned, tough as hell. And the thing about Roman too is he's not afraid to be boring. I know in the striking he does throw some wild stuff, but in that fight versus Staropoli, he couldn't get Staropoli down, but he literally just held him against the fence for literally like 15 straight minutes just to get the win and get out of there. And I think that if he wants to win this fight versus Phil Hawes, I think he needs to do the same thing because he is not going to be the better striker versus Phil. I think Phil is the much better striker, especially more technical striker. I don't know if he's got just as much power, but I think the power is a little bit more neutralized, and he comes straight down the pipe. I mean, he's got a really, really sharp jab. I mean, a really sharp jab, and comes down the pipe with shots. I think he could really bust up the face of Roman and wear him out early because Roman doesn't, I mean, he's hands low, he's doing wild stuff, he looks for weird, wild takedowns. The issue in this fight for Phil Hawes is if he does try to offensive wrestle, because he is a wrestler, he's a very good wrestler, he is the better wrestler of the two. I think he needs to stay away from the wrestling, control the range, just keep him a distance, do your striking thing. You're going to be the much better striker, beat him up, and then maybe worry about the wrestling later, because you saw in that Kyle Dawkins fights that he got easy takedowns. He wanted to wrestle Kyle Dawkins. He wanted to prove that he was the better whatever that matchup. And he got early takedowns and got him easily. But there was a couple times where Kyle Dawkins off the bottom was able to sweep and get to advantageous positions. Either, I think he was in full mount at one point, was threatening submissions, maybe took his back in the first round. If you take down Roman, there is a chance that he can win a scramble, win a sweep, and then all of a sudden you're in a bad position. You do not want Roman Dolidze on your back, on top, anywhere near those type of positions. So if you're Phil Hawes, keep it standing. Play your game. You're going to be the better fighter. I think that Phil Hawes is definitely the overall better fighter. It's not even close. And I'm kind of a Phil Hawes hater because I picked Chris Curtis. I'd say he was going to get knocked out, blah, blah, blah. But in this matchup, I know that Roman Dolidze is a trendy pick. I think it's going to take a Hail Mary. Either a Hail Mary, like what, as you mentioned, one of those big overhand rights, which Phil Hawes has been knocked out before, or a Hail Mary, win a scramble and find a weird submission or something like that. And I'm not saying it can't happen, but I think the chances are pretty low in this fight. You know, I like Roman Dolidze. I think Phil Hawes is the much better fighter and should, control this fight anywhere it goes. So I'm Phil Hawes kind of all the way.
No, we completely agree. Couple comments here. OK said, people think Hawes is good after he beat Win, LMFA. First of all, he looked very good in that fight. Very good. His striking was insane in that fight. Second of all, he was touching up Chris Curtis in that fight. Yeah, I get it. He got knocked out. That's why we said he's chinny. But he was out technical striking who's supposed to be this phenomenal boxer in Chris Curtis. So that's just a trash comment, by the way. And then another comment.
Absolute dumbass, you stupid asshole.
Agree. Here's another one. Fly, a genuine dumbass. You were wrong about Jan and TJ, so I don't believe all your bets. First of all, Jan won that fight.
Jan won the fight.
You absolute clown.
You absolute asshole. Come over here and suck my...
Okay. And TJ wasn't... The dude had one arm and nobody knew.
Literally fought with one arm. How
the people who complain... I got so many complaints. How could you pick Jan? How could I pick Jan? He won the fight.
Well, I got the same thing too. I can't believe you picked TJ.
Judges.
It's like, yeah, if I knew that TJ was fighting with one fucking arm, I wouldn't have picked him.
Yeah, nobody knew. I know. People... Whatever. The problem with people like that, and I am grouping you in that category, Fly, whatever the hell your dumbass name is. The problem with people like that is you just want to copy paste. You just want a list, copy paste, and then you think you'll get rich. That's not how this works. It is a long game. Jacob's Lock of the Week is a perfect example. If you bet on every single one of Jacob's Lock of the Week this year, you'd be up 22.7 units. But if you hopped in when he was on his 10-pick win streak and you hopped in week 9 thinking that streak was going to last for a million years, yeah, you dumbass. You're not up. That's just not how that works. Lots of dumb people. Also, I'm just being playful. We're not shitting on you guys.
No, but
Thanks
I
for the
actually do
comment.
hate everyone. Yeah.
No, and in all seriousness, no, we're just in all in good fun. We appreciate the comments.
Seriously, don't ever comment again.
$8,400 to $7,800. I like $8,400 here. I think Phil Hawes is worth that money. I think there's takedowns, control time. I think he touches him a whole bunch. I think he's worth that money.
I think it's pretty good value. I honestly think it's pretty good value. Obviously, like I said, there's always that. So I don't want anyone coming back and being like, when Roman finds either a weird submission or finds that Hail Mary, being like, oh, I told you so. It's like, no, I told you so. I said that he has a Hail Mary chance, but Phil Hawes should control the fight. The only thing that would surprise me is if Roman comes in, takes him down, and just controls him for 15 minutes. I think that would surprise both of us. Or just like is winning every single striking exchange. But other than that, Phil Hawes, baby.
Yep. No, I completely agree. So I think there's solid value there at $8,400. Monkey Knife Fight strike line 64 to 48. It's probably a more because I do think there's a lot of standing. If there's some takedowns, it'll be on the Phil Hawes side, and I think he just peppers him. I think just nice tight high guard touch, just touches him up, peppers him. Roman's gonna throw big punches, try to make things happen. He's not a quitter. So 48's a little high, but
I don't think people respect how good Phil Hawes is. That guy is legit good.
They watch him get knocked out.
For a wrestler, for a wrestler to come in and have the striking that he has, and he cleaned up his cardio as well. This guy's a legit, man.
Yep. No, dude, go watch the Chris Curtis fight, knowing full well Phil Hawes gets knocked out. Go watch the Chris Curtis fight, and you'll literally be like, this guy's the one who loses? That's weird. And then it happens. But anyway, we're both on that side. WeWantPicks.com. You can go to the bet section, sign up with any one of our betting partners. We'll send you $50 as long as you use our link and make a deposit. You can become a premium member, get access to all of our bets, all of our picks, the DraftKings optimizer, the prop blinds, everything else. Or you can go to WeWantPicks.com/MKF, sign up with Monkey Knife Fight, play some of these strike lines. I do like the more here. And I do think this week, Monkey Knife Fight's probably got some solid value because I think we've agreed on some of these lines more than usual. Next up at UFC Vegas 63 is another one of the highlight fights for me. I'm looking forward to this fight quite a bit. I love Dustin Jacoby. He's taking on Khalil Rountree, who's also very dangerous. Dustin Jacoby. Dustin Jacoby, 18-5 overall, 4-1 in his last 5, and he's currently undefeated in his second stint in the UFC. He was in the UFC in like 2012, left to go pursue his professional kickboxing career, had a ton of success, was rated number 2 in the world at one point, came back to the UFC, and since then he has not lost. Khalil Rountree's 10-5 overall, 3-2 in his last 5. He's riding a 2-fight win streak, and he's coming off that win over Carl Roberson, where he gave up that first round. He lost that first round. And then he came out the second round, just complete reset, put that dude away. Listen, this is going to be a striking match. It's going to be a striking match. Khalil Rountree, very dangerous, probably more raw power, but a good striker, technical striker at times. Can be a little gun shy. You don't always know what you're going to get with him, but he's got power, very fast, pretty good striker. Dustin Jacoby is, as I mentioned, at one point was ranked number 2 in the entire world for kickbox. He's a very good kickboxer. We didn't see too much of his power till his last fight. He knocked out Da Un Jung, where everybody's talking about Jung's power. Oh, Jung's going to get to him. And then he did put that dude out.
That thing was so satisfying because I don't know what you – I think – did you pick Jacoby in that matchup? I don't know if you picked
I've always picked Jacoby. I've never
picked I think we all week were like, oh, you guys are clowns. There's no chance. Da Un Jung's going to flatline this dude. We heard it all week, and that was so sweet. That was so satisfying.
I mean, he lit that guy up, put him out, and looked fantastic. The only time Justin Jacoby did not look very good, come to find out he was injured as hell. It was a bad knee or something.
He literally won a decision without being able to kick, is what it came down to.
And he's got phenomenal low kicks, and he likes to work people's legs and takes away the power. So I think Dustin Jacoby's going to work Khalil's legs, take away the power, take away the speed, do whatever he wants to get this done. I like Dustin Jacoby. I do have a bet on him. I got it at either minus 150 or minus 155. It's starting to move. It will continue to move. Dustin Jacoby will most likely close as more than a 2-1 favorite.
Minus 170 now, so it is moving.
Yeah, it's definitely moving. Premium members, you saw that bet. I placed that last week. I think it was minus 150 I got it at. I placed that last week. That's going to continue to move. So this is what we talk about, right? We talk about The premium membership's only $10. It's the best $10 value. This bet alone, let's say it hits, Dustin Jacoby wins. Premium members, you link your Discord, you got the instant alert. Angelo placed a moneyline bet on Dustin Jacoby at -150. If you followed that bet, you place it, you win, you make some money, you're welcome. And if he closes as a -200 favorite, -180 favorite, that's all value. You got all of that value because you got that bet early. Right now, if you're watching this video, he's -170. That's a 20-point difference. That's what we talk about with the value. What do you think, Jakey boy?
Yeah, first of all, I think that Alexis in the chat, I'm going to find your mom, I'm going to date her, I'm going to marry her, and then I'm going to take away your Xbox. Because I would love for you to explain how Jacoby is a fraud. Jacoby is going to gas out. What in the last
when has he ever gassed?
Years?
Yeah.
Where in the last 3 years have you ever seen Jacoby show that he's a fraud or gasses out in a fight? That is the stupidest fucking shit I have ever heard. And I'm going to take your Xbox. I'm going to ground you. I'm going to take your Xbox away. Your mom is never going to be happier. And then I'm going to leave her. I'm going to divorce her, and she's going to be very, very sad. It's going to be all your fault. I'm Dustin Jacoby all the way in this match. I love Dustin Jacoby. I love Dustin Jacoby. Very high on him. He is the much better fighter. The much better fighter in this matchup. Khalil Rountree is very, very inconsistent. It seems like every time he shows up to fight, he's a different fighter. He has like a Muay Thai style one fight, then he's like a low stance one fight, and then he's low volume one fight, and then he's super aggressive. He will have the power advantage in this matchup. I will say that. And there's something about this matchup that it just seems so obvious that it's going to be like, and I mentioned in my breakdown, I mentioned in the Discord that it feels like Dustin Jacoby is just going to be dominating, and then Khalil's going to throw just a stupid looping wild right hand that like somehow knocks him out. It shouldn't happen. I hope it doesn't happen, but it just feels like one of those fights where Jacoby's made this long streak. He's finally getting there to be a top contender, and then he gets knocked out by somebody he should not get knocked out for or knocked out by. But this is a Dustin Jacoby play all the way. You played the money line. I played the money line. I'll look for other bets for him as well. He is the much better fighter in this matchup.
Yeah, I think I agree. We're both on the same page there. Pepe with the $10 super chat, a full month of premium membership.
Whoa, Pepe.
Pepe said $2.50 a week for premium is an absolute steal. Agreed. Angelo is charismatic as hell. And I would agree with that statement. You know what's interesting about real life here? Jacob and I go out in real life. You see Jacob on the internet in real life.
Whatever he's about to say is not. I mean, go ahead with whatever story you want, whatever fable you want to say.
Jacob will say
here comes Arthur.
3 words. Jacob will say 3 words, and Big Papa Bo is the one with the personality. It's the internet does interesting.
I was having a nice conversation with the waitress last time. Was talking about her eyes.
Where?
We had a nice conversation about her eyes at the Texas OU thing.
Where were we?
The Texas OU thing. I was sitting there having a nice conversation.
So the bottle girl that makes money off tips. Congratulations, Jack. I bet you think strippers
love me.
As well.
Yeah, strippers love me.
Yeah, exactly.
Every time I go to a strip club, they're all over me. They're like, "Oh, back again."
Yeah. Oh, Make-A-Wish. Oh, they brought a Make-A-Wish
champagne room.
kid again.
Hell yeah, champagne room.
Give
and
the Make-A-Wish kid. Yeah. Anyway, $8,300 best value on the entire card. Period. End of story. Agreed.
Yeah, it scares me to say that because the last few weeks, my people in the chat have been talking about Sean Brady. I'm tired of hearing about like people literally act like Bilal dominated that fight. Sean Brady won the round on the judges' scorecard. It was a very close fight until it happened. So, I mean, hats off to Bilal. I said I was
You're
wrong.
also making it sound like he got knocked out with one punch. He got pieced up.
It was an early stoppage. It was a lucky.
I mean, he got pieced
it was a
up.
lucky 30-second combination.
It's a little more than that.
Listen, if you watch the live stream, you can watch it. I ate my words. I said I'm a stupid asshole. I mean, I always own up to stuff. So you don't have to come in the chat and be like, I told you so. No, I get it. Guy fucking lost.
Yeah. No, it brings these people joy to try to bring them down. But little do they know, you're down there already.
I'm fun sized. That's what they always say. That's what the strippers say.
Like those little baby candy bars.
Get them on the pool. Get them on the pool. They're pushing my butt, and I'm at the top of the pool.
Okay. Anyway, $8,300. Great value for Dustin Jacoby. 68 to 38. Look at the difference in their monkey knife fight strike lines. I don't know what to do with that. I'm not going to play that. But I will say Bet Online has prop bets. And they have two different kinds for significant strikes. One is which one of these fighters is going to land more significant strikes. I think Dustin Jacoby is the play there. I don't know what the line is if you're looking at it.
Let me look. I'm going to look at it.
The other is later in the week.
Look at it.
Later in the week, they set an actual line. What is it?
I mean, that's minus 135.
That's great money. Great value.
I'm going to play it right now. Because Khalil is going to, he literally,
he's a low volume guy.
I mean, instead of walking forward, touch gloves, and being in a stance like this, he literally, after the introductions, might just sit like this. And just walk up like this, just waiting to just load that right hand. That's how he fights, so.
Yeah, I agree. I'm going to place that bet as well. Premium members, you'll see it up there. Everybody else, you just heard us say it. So if you go to wewantpicks.com/bets, Bet Online is one of our featured partners, and they have strike lines, 4 fights, strike lines. And they have 2 different props. One is a straight up line, and you say more or less. The other is which fighter is going to land more significant strikes. In this case, Dustin Jacoby is minus 130 to be the fighter who lands more significant strikes. He's a much more high volume guy. The leg kicks count. He's the busier fighter. We think he wins. That's a no-brainer at minus 130. That's solid value. So I'm going to go ahead and jump on that. Jacob did as well. All of you guys watching this, well, enjoy. There's your free bet. WeOwnPicks.com/bets. If you sign up through our link and make a deposit, we'll send you $50 as a thank you. And that's just affiliate marketing right there, boys. That's all that is. Next up, at UFC Vegas 63, we have Tresean Gore taking on Josh Fremd, and it's with a D. I put a B. Anyway, Tresean Gore is 3-2 overall. That's his entire career. So his last 5 fights, he's 3-2. And he's coming off 2 losses in the UFC. Very frustrating losses at that. Josh Fremd is 9-3 overall. He's 3-2 in his last 5. And he's coming off a short notice UFC debut loss. And that was to Fluffy Hernandez. That was to a very solid grappler. Tresean Gore he's just frustrating. He's got power in his hands, but he doesn't throw his hands. He's got decent wrestling, but he doesn't wrestle as much as he should. He's just sort of waiting. And you see, like when he fought Brian Battle, he could have won that fight. You saw moments where it's like, go, come on, go. And he just didn't. He never went. He never did anything. And he didn't do that in his last fight either. And that's the problem. There's a lot of fighters on this card. Vanderaa is the other one. Where I watched the pre-UFC tape, I make what are you making that stupid face for? You like
I don't know.
Shit
You compared Tresean Gore and Vanderaa.
You didn't even let me finish my point before you started holding it apart.
Because it's so stupid. I had to cut you off before you looked even stupider.
Anyway, my point is I watched the pre-UFC tape. And lots of times I'll make a conclusion based off of that. Tresean Gore wasn't a low-volume guy before the UFC. He'd throw a bunch of punches, shoot a takedown. Throw a bunch of punches, shoot a takedown. So then when I break down his UFC fights, I'm like, yeah, he's a pretty good volume guy. But he hasn't shown it yet. Vanderaa, very similar story. Before the UFC, lots of takedowns. In the UFC, no takedowns. So why do I keep thinking he's going to shoot? So there's the comparison. And fucking nailed it. Tresean Gore is a low-volume guy. Josh Fremd, athletic guy. Doesn't really have an MMA background. Or any specific background, just started MMA, but he's athletic. He's decent everywhere. He's improving at a high rate because he is so athletic. He had a lot of success in the LFA, so he has fought at a decent level. He gave up 8 takedowns to Fluffy Hernandez, but I believe he had a sweep in that fight, which is not an easy thing to do.
I think there were a couple of them.
Yeah, which is not an easy thing to do against a good.
He had the back of Fluffy at one point.
And Fluffy, he's not I'm not going to pretend like he's the greatest jiu-jitsu guy of all time, but he's a solid BJJ guy.
He's very good.
He's very good, and he has an insane gas tank. And Josh Fremd hung with him, wasn't out of that fight, continued to try to make things happen, and he took that on short notice. He's just a high-level athlete that puts it all out there, tries to win these fights. I think he wins the fight. I think he gets it done. I trust him. Do I trust him enough to lay down money? No. But maybe as the 4th leg of a parlay that you're going to break down, sure, because I'm confident in him to win this fight, but a lot of that confidence comes from I haven't seen anything from Tresean in the UFC yet. But if he comes out here high volume, he can get it done because he's got power, he's got speed, he's got wrestling. He just doesn't do it. What do you think?
Yeah, this is a fight where, like you said, it's you're always just waiting for him to do more. It's like watching Tyron Woodley late in his career, and it's like every single fight, it's like I think this one might be the one he's finally aggressive, and this could be the one where he's finally aggressive because he came in before his UFC debut and was talking about I'm going to be the double champ, I'm going to be the double champ, I'm the best, and he could have won that. We know how good Brian Battle is at this point, right? He's won a couple fights. Yeah. He could have easily won, as you mentioned, he could have easily won that fight versus Brian. Every time he touched Brian Battle, he hurt him, but then he just didn't do anything else. It's like he just gave up that fight versus in a, what is it, not the Contender Series, but the Ultimate Fighter. That was the championship, right? Yeah,
it was the fake championship.
Yeah, that was he squandered a big opportunity in that he's 0-2 in the UFC. I have to imagine that it's got to be a wake-up call, right? I mean, you're 0-2 in the UFC, hopefully. You're now 3-2. I got to imagine that this is a wake-up call to come in and either fight the way you used to fight or fight differently than you have been fighting because it has been working out. And I probably would trust him a little bit more if he wasn't knocked out in his last fight. If he lost another decision, it's like, okay, at least we know that he can still come in and survive type of situation. But I'm not going to side with Gore until he shows me that he can be who he says he is. And maybe this is the matchup. Maybe this is the parlay killer because everyone's going to be like, oh, fade Gore. He's not the... But he is a powerful dude. He is a very dangerous dude. He is a very good mixed martial artist. He just hasn't shown in the UFC yet for whatever reason. So, with that said, I did sprinkle a little inside the distance decisional action for Gore. I'm hoping that Fremd comes in, maybe uses his wrestling. It's like kind of a slow, methodical fight, and I get my money back on that. But Gore is the dangerous guy. He is a very dangerous guy in this matchup. Yep. He does stalk people down, too, where Woodley was like on his back foot, right? He let people come to him. Tresean Gore will stalk people down. He just stares at them. He gets them against the cage. He corners them, and then he's just like, and he just stares at him. If he actually does throw, he can hurt Fremd in this matchup. But I gotta go with Fremd. I can't pick Gore until he shows me that he can actually do what he says and is capable of doing. So Gore, I think, is live in this matchup, but it's up to him to see how live he actually is. I gotta go with Josh.
Yeah, no, we're completely aligned. I completely agree, and. Josh Fremd may be the parlay buster. Gamrot was a shocking parlay buster. Victor Henry, a parlay buster. Josh Fremd could be the next parlay buster. I wouldn't be loading him up in parlays, though. This is neither one of these guys has a win in the UFC. Those are not the type of people you want to throw into your parlays.
Yeah,
like I said,
that's a good point, too, because it's not like Josh has shown that he is a UFC type guy. I mean, he came in short notice and had moments against Fluffy, but, it's not like he's a world beater as well, so...
No, I agree. And listen, if you're doing like what I do with the safety parlay, I do a 2-leg, I add a third, I add a fourth. If you do something like that and you want to make them the fourth leg, like, okay, potentially, right? Like you're supposed to work that logically. You don't just build a 4-legger with Josh Fremd as the cleanup batter. You're supposed to build it logically. Like, hey, the 2 hit, let me add another. Nice.
You do know sports.
I like go ahead and baseball. Anyway. Josh Fremd, both. I don't know why I did that. Is baseball
like a white trash sport or something like that?
No,
that's America's pastime.
I didn't know what direction. I was gonna go Joe Dirt for some stupid reason, and then I was gonna do. I think it's Family Guy, like Go Sports, like doesn't follow anything.
You were gonna do the TikTok Italian dude, the coach. Like you throw lollipops, you throw.
He's not. I guess he is Italian because he calls his grandmother.
You got to.
Yeah, no, he is Nicky something. He's from like New York or Jersey. He's good. Yeah, that kid is good. His New York Italian accents are perfect. Just the way he says.
Because then he does those, and then he does like the neighbors watching. Hey, he's out there in the yard again. He's talking to leaves.
He's yelling at the leaves. He's yelling at the leaves.
He's looking mad this time.
Look at, he's really letting him have it. Anyway.
And the best part about those at the end, when he's like, what's for dinner? And then what does he say at the end?
There we go. Oh, crock-pot chicken. No, of course.
No surprise.
No
surprise there.
Of course.
Yo, Joey T just gifted 5 memberships. Holy shit. Look at everyone that just got a gifted membership in the chat. Make sure you say thank you to Joey T, an OG of the channel. Big supporter.
$M
we
got one.
Carmi, Luis, Alan, Jack, not Jake, and M Dollars. Whoo!
Thank you very much, Joey T. Joey Todoro, my man. Pots and Pan, $8,700 to $7,500. $8,700. He may be. It is dangerous because it's not high and it's not low. That's tricky. I'm not going to tell you what to do with it. I'm not going to tell you what to do with that 8,700, but that's right there where you should think about it. You should think about it.
I might play. I think Tresean in multi lineups is definitely got to be in there because he does have that power, man. He does have that power.
I absolutely agree. Monkey Knife Fight strike line 41 to 57. What do you think? It's tricky.
Why is Gore more? He doesn't do anything. Just because I guess it's
just
based off their UFC
It's
fights.
based off their UFC stats.
And Fremd was
in a
controlled the whole
grappling
time.
match.
They should be flip-flopped, I think.
They should be. But that is how Chris Riley, it's a math equation. He looks at how many strikes they landed
math equation.
per minute, how many minutes this fight's supposed to go, and that's how he comes up with it. So, but Josh only has one fight in the UFC, and it was all grappling. So, I think it's probably a more or less situation because Tresean doesn't let his hands go, and if he does, then he can get a knockout. If you guys want to explore that, you want to throw Tresean in your Monkey Knife Fight Knockout Kings, you get any 3 fighters on the entire card, any 3 fighters, and if one of them wins by KO or TKO, you get paid. 2, you get paid even more. 3, you get paid a ton. WeOnPicks.com/MKF. Sign up, make a deposit, take the free deposit match. Go ahead, play some Knockout Kings. Maybe throw Tresean in there because you only need 1 out of 3. So if he doesn't get it, who cares? Next up, at UFC Vegas 63, we have Waldo Cortes-Acosta making his official UFC debut against Jared Vanderaa. Waldo undefeated at 7-0, and he is making his UFC debut. Jared, 12-9 overall, 1-4 in his last 5. He is riding quite the skid. 4-fight losing streak. Things are not going well. But I do feel bad for him. This guy's stepped up on short notice on multiple occasions. He's fought some pretty tough guys. Frankly, Andrei Arlovski was one of them. He outstruck Andrei 70-64. He dominated Justin Taffa in that win. And this is a guy who I mentioned before the UFC, he's shooting takedowns. And so in my head, I'm always like, oh, Jared Vanderaa could win with the wrestling. But he doesn't wrestle in the UFC. This is all pre-UFC. He has 1 takedown in the UFC against Harry Hunsucker. So is he going to wrestle in this fight? If you only watched pre-UFC, absolutely. If you watch only his UFC fights, then of course, 0%. So it's always weird when you see these people not use what they had to get them to the UFC in the UFC. Anyway, Waldo Cortes, he's a solid striker. He'll come forward. He does a really good job going to the body, then to the head. He's got very, very real power in his hands. If it gets to the ground, he's not really looking to get it there, but if he gets to the ground, he's got some decent jiu-jitsu. He can make something happen. Jared Vanderaa is a big guy, but so is Waldo. I think Waldo wins this fight. Jared Vanderaa typically was like a pretty tough guy, decent chin. And then why are you gifting memberships?
Well, damn it, because Kim says she's never going to get a membership, so I tried to give memberships to see if she would get a membership, and it didn't.
We have 150 people in here right now.
I know, but she's active.
1 in 150. It's gonna.
I know, but it goes to active people, and she's a mod. I mean, she's active. I really
maybe
thought
that's why
was
it's not going
off.
to her because it might not go to her because she's a mod.
Well, I don't know. I really tried my hardest. We also had someone renew their membership. I don't know if you want to scroll up and read that.
I will. Anyway, so Waldo is the pick. Where's the renewed membership? Anybody who's a premium or a regular YouTube member now, we added the. You're a clown. we added.
Please pin it and read it. He is excited for you to read that.
We added
it 19 months.
Shut up. I'll read it in a second. We added premium membership as a tier on YouTube. So if you're a regular member, you can upgrade the premium and then get access to all the bets and stuff like that. Jacob Lines, who's just unwell.
19 months of membership, an OG of the channel. We appreciate all the support from Jacob. I know him personally, and I mean, just a fantastic guy. If I had a daughter, I would definitely send her his way, because he is just a fantastic guy through and through, and goddamn good looking too. You didn't read it.
I think Waldo wins this fight. We just watched Jared get knocked out by Chase Sherman, who is not a knockout guy, which just reinforces Waldo here. Minus 192 at heavyweight. That's always tricky. I do think Waldo gets it done. It's kind of an obvious pick. He's another guy for Monkey Knife Fight Knockout Kings. What do you think?
Yeah, this is definitely should be a Waldo play. Obviously, I'm not going to ever pick Jared Vanderaa. I don't really care who he fights at this point in his career. As you mentioned, kind of sucks for him, because he has been kind of one of those company guys. A lot of times those company guys get some favorable matchups. This is not a favorable matchup for him because Waldo is a very dynamic striker. And I don't want to say he's first round or bust, but in this matchup, I feel like it's kind of a first round or bust situation. He's going to throw heat. He's going to throw power. He does have decision wins, so he can win a decision versus Jared Vanderaa. But if he comes in, UFC debut, looking for that early knockout and doesn't quite get it, we could see that adrenaline dump type situation. And all of a sudden, you have the mountain Jared Vanderaa just laying against you against the fence. And all of a sudden, it's out of the first round, and now you're struggling to breathe. And Jared Vanderaa finds a way to win a weird decision. So I did play Waldo. I do have like a first round on Waldo because I think he should be able to be good enough to get the job done early. But if this gets out of the first round, we know how heavyweights go. They can get tired. They can just lay on each other and anything can happen at that point. So I think it's a kind of a weird situation for Waldo, but he definitely is a better fighter in this matchup. And I'm excited to see what he does in the heavyweight division.
Yeah, I'm with you. Obviously, the UFC set this up knowing what they were trying to get. If Harry Hunsucker was still on the roster, they would have thrown him in there, right? They set this up on purpose. But like I said, I feel bad. Jared Vanderaa has stepped up, and I guess they're giving him opportunities. He's lost 4 in a row, and he's still getting a fight. So they are giving him opportunities. He's stepped up. He's saved a few fights. He saved a few cards. So it is what it is. Just stop gifting memberships.
I literally tried again.
Well, I guess I'm not going to tell you what to do with your own money. Yeah, I'm not going to tell you what to do with your own money. I'm not reimbursing
I'm trying to be nice to these people. I tried again, Kim. I don't know. Jesus Christ.
Anyway, so we're both on the same side here. If we take a look at DraftKings, $9,000, he's probably worth it. He's one of my more confident, expensive fighters on this card because he most likely wins by knockout. You agree with that statement? With the head nod?
I think so. Yeah, it is weird that you can't just pick. I think in Twitch you can. I think you can.
No,
pick
you can't pick there either. I don't think.
It's better than Twitch because Twitch literally is random. At least this does it to people that are really active in the chat. So if you're not active in the chat and you want to be gifted, that's a way to get a gifted membership because all these people that are getting memberships are active in the chat and on the channel. So yeah, Kim, I'm trying, Kim. And it might be a situation where I think you have to accept gifted memberships. There's a setting in the chat where you have to be able to accept gifted memberships. Maybe yours is turned off, or maybe it is because she's a mod. I don't know.
I don't know either.
Fuck.
Okay. Monkey Knife Fight, strike line, don't touch that. Don't ever touch that for heavyweights. It's just too unknown. But I will say, although I did feel pretty confident in the Arlovski one earlier, but this should be a knockout Kings fight. Throw Waldo, Cortez, and Jared Vanderaa in there. You can do 2 fighters in the same fight. I don't necessarily think Jared's going to knock him out, but if he does get a takedown and for some reason just starts elbowing away, like you said, Waldo gasses, slows down, anything's possible. But, I do think Waldo's going to win. I think he's going to win by stoppage. Monkey Knife Fight, knockout Kings, give that a shot. You only need 1 out of 3 fighters. You get to pick anybody you want. And you'll get paid. WeWantPicks.com/MKF. Sign up, make a deposit. They will instantly match that deposit. Take that free money. If you give them 50, they'll give you 50. Take the 50. Build yourself a couple of knockout Kings or just 1 and go from there. Take that money and run, baby. Take that money and run. Next up at UFC Vegas 63, we have the co-main event of the evening. We have Tim Means taking on Max Griffin.
The Dirty Bird.
In what should be a pretty interesting fight. It's kind of a tricky fight. Tim Means 32-13 overall, 3-2 in his last 5. Coming off that submission loss to Kevin Holland. Max Griffin is 18-9 overall, 3-2 in his last 5. And he's coming off that very close split decision loss to Neil Magny. Tim Means he's just a gritty guy. He's a high-volume striker. He can work in takedowns. I think he averages a little less than 1 per fight. And he's tricky because he's got that karate style. He'll switch stances. He's sort of all over the place. But he will come forward and just be busy. He is a finisher. 24 of his 32 wins are by stoppage. 8 of his 13 losses are by stoppage. So this guy, more often than not, does not see the judges. He can win a wrestling fight. He can win a striking fight. He can lose a wrestling fight. He can lose a striking fight. He's just, this guy can win or lose doing anything. Max Griffin, he's a strong guy. He uses his strength really well. He's got the power in his striking. He can drop people. He's got knockouts. But he is a solid grappler. He averages more than a takedown per fight. He took down Alex Morono 4 times in that. He lost to Elam Imadev, but he took him down 6 times in a win. His last fight was a close loss to Neil Magny. He had a knockdown, and he defended 8 of 9 takedowns. He just couldn't keep up with the striking. This is a tough pick. I'm shocked that Max Griffin's a minus 172 favorite. I think this should be a little closer because Tim Means can just come forward, stay busy, and just win almost the same way that Neil Magny did. Just be super busy with the strikes, and he could potentially win this fight. I do think Max Griffin gets it done because I think his power will matter. I think the damage is going to wear on Tim Means. Tim Means gets finished. Did you get it to her?
We
is that
did
what's
it.
Happening?
She had her memberships turned off. We did it.
Okay, there you go.
You're welcome, everyone. You're welcome. Remember,
thank you for being
like
a mod,
me
Kim,
over
and
Angelo.
congratulations.
You like me over Angelo. Never forget this moment, guys.
I would assume so, but that's the difference between you and I. Just begging for attention. Typical Jake. Begging for attention. With some napkins shoved in his
I
sleeves.
buy friendships, and I'm not afraid to say it.
Did you listen to anything I said? I picked Max Griffin. I said I think the power
another
will
wrong
be the
pick from
difference.
you.
Okay, go ahead. Tell us why you think Tim Means wins.
No, I think that Max is definitely live in the first round. You saw that in the Neil Magny fight. He definitely has power, and he's not a flat-footed power type dude. He has power going backwards. He's in and out. He's moving around. I think the Dirty Bird is definitely going to be flying around, chasing him around in this matchup, and eventually he's going to catch him. And I think that's the difference in the fight. Whether he gets caught before then, we'll see if that happens. We saw Neil Magny get dropped. He was able to survive. And Tim does have some wrestling if he does get a little bit of a trouble. But Tim is a tough veteran. He knows what to expect. And he knows how to wear people down. And Max is a guy that can get worn down. I think this is a copy and paste of the Neil Magny fight. He could have some success early. And if he does, he better get this dude out of there. Because if Tim is able to survive, he can just wear people down, and Max is susceptible of getting worn down himself. So I think I'm going with the Dirty Bird here. I'm going to be, clutching my pearls in the first round of this fight, but I think if he gets out of the first round, he can do what the Dirty Bird does, and that is absolutely control the pace and pressure of this fight and wear down Max Griffin to a decision. So I do, I don't hate your pick in Max Griffin. He is the favorite. He does have the power side advantage, but I'm going to go with pace, pressure, and experience with the Dirty Bird Tim Means. So that's my pick for this co-main event.
Sorry, I'm just calling somebody dirty names in the live chat.
Who is it? Who the hell is talking shit?
No, I'm not going to say their name.
Angelo?
I'm not going to say their name because that's what they want. That's why they talk shit. You don't feed the trolls, but I did it anyway.
I actually had a nice moment with him in the Discord today. He was on my side, so I like that guy.
Oh,
so don't disparage him too much.
Said,
he is a member, by the way.
Talking to you, saying at least you don't read off a script. Here's the thing. It's my script. I fucking write it. That's called being prepared. I literally do my research, take my notes, write it out, and I do it for 2 reasons. 1, so that I get all my points across quickly, clearly, and effectively. And 2, premium members have access to all the raw notes. Not everybody watches the videos. Some people want to read it. So this script is available on premium membership. So complaining about that is just insane. And I also don't read any of my notes during this video. What? Why are your hands up?
No, I'm just saying. You've told me multiple times I'm not going to engage. I'm not going to engage.
That's why I didn't
people
pin it. That's why I didn't pin it.
That's
the difference.
Yeah, nice job, MMM database. I like to press buttons.
Why would you say the
pressed
name?
it. Nice job.
Why would you say
I like him. I have no issues with him. You're the one with the issue. I have no issue with MMA database.
Wow.
He's a member
that's
now.
The friend. What a friend. Ride or die, huh? That's the type of friend.
Not with
What a
you.
joke.
I'm with them all the way against you. 100%.
Right, that's the joke. What a joke. No ride or die. That's the difference between where you're from and where I'm from. Okay? Good luck. I hope we go out. I hope we go out and you get into a fist fight. Good luck. Good luck.
If I get in a fist fight, it's going to be, I mean,
Chase Hooper
I throw this thing right here and it's over. My fist
Everybody,
fights don't last long, I'll tell you that.
Anybody who thinks you don't
I don't need you. I don't need you
Hooper,
butt scooting with your legs in the air.
Anyone
I'm coming, Jacob. I'm coming.
Okay. Yeah.
Pulling your blue belt out of your back pocket. You probably keep that on underneath your jeans at all times just in case.
Okay.
trying to grab somebody's hoodie to do the little gi choke out. And I'm throwing elbows. I'm in here like this. And you're in here trying to grab people's hoodies. Hold on, give me your hoodie. Oh, God. Tap. Are you tapping? Is he tapping, Jacob?
I don't have the picture prepared.
Is he tapping, Jacob? I can't see.
I don't have the picture prepared, but the one of my wife standing next to you where she's taller than you and she's not a very tall person, that's the one that needs to come up with the tough guy antics with the elbows.
Yeah.
The tough guy antics with the elbows.
Your 5'10" wife on her tippy toes taller than me? Yeah, congratulations.
5'10". First of all, even if she is 10, she's taller than you, and she's not 5'10".
On her tippy toes, that would make her about 6'2", and I'm 6'1". So yeah, man, that adds up. Makes sense.
Tell you what, anybody who wants to see Jacob lie down on the floor in the garage will mark his head and his feet like you do a baby at a doctor's checkup and then measure between the two lines. Let us know in the live chat.
Yeah, why don't you measure between the two legs, too? Let's measure between the two legs, too.
I would love to. Absolutely.
Onlyfans.com/thefreckled-salad-man. You can see for yourself. Make sure you have good internet because it's going to take a while to download that thing. You get that thing on your screen, it is going to be banned with... I mean, if you have dial-up, you're never going to see that thing. It's going to take a while.
I bet. Yeah, I bet. Anyway.
Way to go, MMA database. Look what you did.
$7,400 for Tim Means. I do think he is solid value at that price point. The problem is he gets finished in his losses. So he could absolutely get put up 20 points. What do you think? He's your pick, right?
I don't know. I can't. I'm so far gone at this point. I'm all riled up, ready to go.
I mean, honestly, though, this is a picture. You need to do a fucking...
Yeah. Whatever you said.
You're at work. This is work. Do your job.
Yeah, 74. Yeah, I'll probably play the 74. Because there's not a lot of... There's live dog...
Absolutely. I would do the...
Well, now you think about it, because there is a lot of... like live dogs that could easily win or lose decisions, where I think he is more of a, I don't know how to say it. He's more of a safe live dog, I guess, because he's tough.
He's a popular live dog. The biggest issue with Tim Means is he gets finished. That's the biggest issue. Do you not agree? I'm timing out. Fucking mouthy over here. You've been timing
Whoa!
I'm very petty. Thank you for the membership, though. It is appreciated.
Unbelievable.
Monkey Knife Ice Strike Line, 68 to 78. Again, super tricky because Tim Means high volume guy. Tim Means a high volume guy. They could blast past these numbers, but he gets finished, or he finishes.
He gets choked out. I mean, he gets choked out.
But Max Griffin could choke people out. He's got good grappling.
Well, I don't know. He was pretty well out-grappled by Neil Magny.
He defended 8 out of 9 takedowns. He was only taken down 1 time.
I mean, he was knocked out by Nico, your boy Nico, who's a wild dude. And before that, his last TKO was in 2004, and that was an injury. He gets knocked out. Get the fuck out of here with your nonsense.
That's how long this dude's been doing it. Anyway, my point was he gets... What the fuck? My point was he gets finished in his losses, and I think he loses this fight. So thinking he gets to 68 strikes is a little tricky. Absolute. If you guys want to see that picture of Jacob laying on the floor and we'll measure like a baby how tall he actually is, no shoes on.
That's like your only thing. I mean, that's literally your only thing. You
act like
lie about my height, and that's like the only thing that you have.
What way to prove it? Then let's prove it. It's very easy with the chalk.
How tall am I? How tall am I? Because you say 5'6", you say 5'5".
No. Just straight, honest, God's honest truth.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear this. I can't wait to hear this.
Yeah, out of intelligence. In your socks, on the floor. 5'8".
Get the fuck out of here.
That's 100% true. That's 100% true. It's a 5. It's absolutely a 5.
Yeah, it's 5'11". I put shoes on. I'm 6'1".
I don't think so. Anyway, I don't even care about any of this. It's because you start doing this routine, little baby boy energy, little lifted pickup truck energy.
There's only one person.
And then I call you
flustered
out.
And upset. And that's
that was for reading the script.
That's little baby hands up there. Put it up. Let's see. Let's see your hands.
How stupid is this?
Oh, whose hands are bigger, guys?
Here, go get that cup. Go get that little yellow cup from Dickies, and let's see whose hand covers more.
Here, I got a Coke can right here. Okay.
Okay, let's see how much
you
it
have a
covers.
Coke can?
I hope it's a mini. Please be a mini Coke can.
Let's see. Do you have a Coke can?
I don't have a soda. I have this massive 32-ounce cup.
Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this is Andrei. This is Andrei the Giant type hands right here. Look at these tarantula fingers I've got on my.
Christ.
Look at this thing.
Why do you have
Holy
mini?
shit. I go all the way.
Sodas.
Look at this, all the way around. This is like holding on to my.
It's a mini.
Look at this shit.
Why do you buy the mini sodas
Holy shit.
and the mini?
And watch this. You want to see something too? Watch this.
Oh, I hope you bleed. I hope you bleed. Oh, what a joke. Why do you buy the minis? You live alone. Why do you buy the mini sodas?
Because 12 ounces is a lot. 12 ounces of fizzy Coke is too much for one person. Too much for one person.
You're going to be up till 3 o'clock in the morning with all that caffeine. Oh, shit. There's not even a promo there. Next up at UFC Vegas.
This is a legit monster can. Look at this. This is a legit monster can. These are big hands, guys.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Anyway, well, don't worry. We'll take a picture hand to hand like you used to do in middle school. We'll put that on Premium as well. Premium is going to get real weird.
I think I did cut myself.
Premium is going to get very strange. Anyway, head up. This is the important one. Next up at UFC Vegas 63, we have Calvin Kattar taking on, and I know it's Kattar, but I've been saying Kattar 15 years.
Is it really Kattar? I thought it was Kattar too.
Yeah, at this point, I don't know. Because I've been saying it wrong for literally 15 years. Because he's from Mass, I'm from Connecticut. He's been
chest hair. Chest hair, he loses.
Okay.
Thanks for watching, guys. This is tune in for.
Anyway, that's a funny comment. Anyway, Calvin Kattar taking on.
Yeah. Is that a compliment or not? I don't know.
I think it's a big skuvans, but you didn't grow very high. But the skuvans. Anyway, Calvin Kattar taking on Arnold Allen in the main event. This is actually a very, very good main event. The odds have flipped on this fight. Calvin Kattar opened as a small favorite. He is now the slight underdog. He's 23-6 overall, 3-2 in his last 5. Coming off that war of a loss to Josh Emmett. He's taking on Arnold Allen, who's 18-1. That's actually what scares me the most in this fight. He is riding an 11-fight win streak. He's looking for his 10th win in the UFC. He's just not very active, which is why you didn't really hear much about Arnold Allen until he fought Dan Hooker a few months back. It's striker versus striker. Calvin Kattar is a very good boxer, very clean boxer. He does have some KOs, but it's not raw power. He just has real good footwork. His hands are where they're supposed to be. His feet are where they're supposed to be. He cuts angles really, really well. He's a very, very good boxer, and he's really only lost to pressure fighters, right? He lost to Max Holloway. One of the most, those numbers are insane. 400 some odd strikes landed in that fight. He lost to Max Holloway, who pressured him. He lost to Zabit, who pressured him. And those are the fights he loses, to high pressure, people who come forward. Josh Emmett came forward, high pressure, stayed in his face. Counter strikers, he picks apart. Remember when the whole world thought Giga Chikadze was going to smoke Calvin Kattar? That's not what happened because Giga is a counter striker. Calvin Kattar lit him up, and everybody's like, oh, it was the wrestling. There was only one takedown in that fight. It wasn't the wrestling. It was a 5-round fight. He won every single round.
Yeah,
there was only one takedown.
Early with the wrestling.
There was one takedown in the whole fight. How do you win 5 rounds? How do you win 5 rounds with one takedown?
Because then he's tired. Once you're tired, it's very easy to. I mean, if you get tired. That's how I beat the shit out of you. Is you get tired in 30 seconds, and then I just.
This energy again. Anyway, Calvin Kattar, the way you beat him is high volume, pressure, stay in his face. Josh Emmett beat him with pressure and power because Calvin Kattar outstruck him in that fight, but wore the damage, took the power. Very, very Cheeto Rob Font-esque. Arnold Allen is more of a counter striker than anything, and I think Calvin can touch him up. I think Calvin can exploit the counter striking. I think he's going to be the cleaner, better boxer. I know people love Arnold Allen for takedowns here, and I don't know why. Calvin Kattar has a 90.
Here we go.
Where is it? Where's his takedown defense? 91% takedown defense. The only person to take him down was Zabit. Zabit took him down. That's it. And Zabit is a phenomenal, some random dude 10 years ago. And if you watch that fight, that wasn't a clean
so I
takedown.
mean, and Zabit was the only person that actually wrestles and tried to take him down. I mean, the other people he's fought, he hasn't fought any wrestlers, so of course he's not getting taken down. He hasn't fought any
my
wrestlers.
bad. Arnold Allen's a wrestler? Got it. Go ahead.
I mean, he does wrestle. Yeah, he does wrestle. And he does take people down.
It's a little different, but anyway, I think Calvin Kattar wins this fight. Very close fight. Very, very close fight. Arnold Allen worries me. His streak is very impressive, and winners know how to win, and that does worry me.
I do.
Go ahead.
No, my pick is biased. I did get him for plus money. He's minus 120. I think it moved up to minus 130. Now it's back down to minus 120. I honestly think that this is a very, very, very dangerous fight for Arnold Allen. So I am biased. I got him for underdog money, but I'm going to be realistic with everyone. I'm scared to death for Arnold Allen in this fight. And there was some comment that was like, oh, it's 5 rounds, so Calvin's going to win easily because it's a 5-round fight. Calvin's 2-2 in 5-round fights. It's not like he just wins all these 5-round fights all the time because he just wears people down.
But he's never
I understand one was against Max Holloway, and he got beat up, and I got to understand one was against Josh Emmett, and he kind of got beat up as well as a close fight, whatever it was. I don't know if the consensus was he won that fight. I can't remember what it was, but it was a very close fight. My hope is that these wars
I think the
that
consensus
Calvin
was that he won. Sorry, I responded.
No, that's fine. No, you're fine. I'm hoping that Calvin Kattar being in all these wars starts to kind of add up, and Arnold finds the shots that he was finding against Dan Hooker early in that fight and is able to hurt and then pounce on Calvin Kattar, because even though I just said, like, just because it goes 5 rounds doesn't mean he's going to win. If this starts extending, you got to assume that Calvin is going to look better in the 4th and in the 5th rounds because he does have the experience in the fight. So my hope is that Arnold comes in, maybe mixes in some takedowns. I think if he wants to wrestle, he can wrestle in this matchup. I know what Angelo said, and I understand the stats behind it, and Calvin is a good wrestler in his own right, so maybe it doesn't work. I'm hoping that Arnold can kind of wrestle a little bit and then mix up the striking. Typically, as Angelo mentioned, Arnold is a very methodical fighter. His fight versus Dan Hooker was very not the way he normally fights. He's not normally just throwing wild shit, which he did against Dan Hooker. He's usually that counter striker, picking his spots, doesn't sit on power often, and just kind of plays the decision fights. In this matchup, he I don't know if he should do that or if he can't do that. It's just a weird fight and a weird matchup for Arnold Allen. He is going to be my pick. It is biased. I got him for plus money. I think he is the better overall fighter in this matchup, but the experience of Calvin Kattar does worry me. I just hope that he's a little bit more run down because of all these wars, and Arnold can find the shot he's looking for. So my pick is going to be Arnold Allen, but I'll be honest with you guys, I don't fucking love it. I don't love it.
I agree with you with the accumulated damage. Like, there's only so many punches in the face you can take. Max lit him up, but there wasn't a lot of power behind that. But
and
Josh
he also was hitting Max as well. People forget that Max's face was also beat the fuck up in that matchup as well.
It was just such a giant. It was like
it was very lopsided
to 172. Right. It was
right.
crazy. But Josh Emmett hit him hard. That's, and I agree. But I do remember the consensus. A lot of people thinking Calvin Kattar won, because even Dana White said something like, "Is Josh going to get the next title shot?" He's like, "Well, I think Calvin won that fight." So it was a good fight. Calvin's a gamer. I do understand the 5-round logic. I don't necessarily think it's an instant pick for the other guy because of 5 rounds, but I guess the point is Calvin's proven how tough he is and how long he can last against very high-level competition. That is why the bet I have, let me pull it up here. I'm literally on the website looking at premium membership. I have Calvin Kattar wins inside the distance, decision no action at minus 130. Because I don't see Calvin getting finished. I just don't see that happening. I don't trust him enough for a money line bet. So if he somehow finishes Arnold Allen, which is not out of the realm of possibility, I'll get paid.
Got cracked versus Dan Hooker. Even in those flurries, he was chasing a little too hard, and Dan, against the fence, caught him with a little bit, sat him down. He did recover fine, which was good to see. I mean, that was one of those to the knee, and he was still back in it. So it's good to see that he can, kind of take a shot like that. But yeah, I mean, he definitely got dropped.
Yeah, so if Calvin Kattar wins inside the distance, I'll get paid. If he loses a decision, which is a very possible, full refund. Full refund, bet never happened. The only sportsbook partner of ours that offers that is BetOnline. So go to WeWantPicks.com/bets. Sign up. If you use our link and you make a deposit, we will send you $50 as a thank you. Yes.
Let me just put this out there that this feels like we haven't had one in a while. This feels like it could be a draw type fight where either Arnold has like wild success, drops him in the first round, it's a 10-8 round, or maybe it's a close fight, and then at the end he's so tired, Calvin's on top, and it's a 10-8 round, and all of a sudden it's like Arnold wins the first 3 rounds, but it's a 10-8 at the end. This feels like one of those weird, I might take a little dabble on like a draw because these guys are both very skilled, they're both very tough, and Calvin should have, the advantage in the later rounds. This feels like a weird draw situation. And if it ends in a draw, oh my God. Oh, did I fucking nail that?
Yeah, congratulations. So we're split on the pick, but we fully, we get the other person's perspective here. Even money on DraftKings. Pick your side. You probably should have one of these guys in your lineup. 5 rounds, should be busy. They're both busy guys. They're both going to try to win this fight. I think it'll score well, and we're talking even money here. Monkey Knife Fight Strike Line, in all reality, it's probably more. I'm not going to touch it. I'm just not going to touch it. There's too many questions here, like, Calvin has been taking damage. How good actually is Arnold Allen? We're about to find out. We're about to find out how good he actually is.
Yeah, we are about to find out.
Okay.
No, but I think to your point in the Monkey Knife Fight, I think it's a more and more. I think this is a 5-round war. Could be one of the fight of the years. Both these guys are tough. Both these guys are skilled. They're well rounded. I literally think that this is a 5-round war where we go to the judge's decision. And it's like, holy shit, who won that fight? I guess we're about to find out, and it's going to be a draw, and I'm going to be the smartest man in the world.
Congratulations on all your success. Guys, thank you so much for the watch. Go to WeWantPicks.com. Sign up for all the things.
Like the stream before you go. Please like the stream. For the love of God. Angel says if it doesn't get enough likes, I get assassinated.
Okay. Listen, it has not, it does not go without notice that I think we had 150 people watching at one point. It's 10 o'clock Central Time. It's 11 o'clock on the East Coast. It is a Tuesday night. I fully recognize there's other things you could be doing with your time and you're doing this. There are much larger channels than us doing what we do. They don't get half the viewers that we get live. So we appreciate every single one of you. Thank you very much. We appreciate all the premium members. And if you want to become a premium member, you're not now, go to WeWantPicks.com. There's a button that just says become a member. It's $10 a month. You can do it, A, just to show support, or B, for the incredible value that you get. You get all the picks, all the bets. You get a DraftKings optimizer if you're into DFS. Not only is it just picks and bets, we have the over-under lines for the round lines for every single fight, and we put those in a category. Every single fighter, we rank their DraftKings salary, the projected ownership, all those things. WeWantPicks.com. It's $10 a month, and if you don't want to do it at our website, you can do it right here on YouTube. Just click the join button under this video. And then if you want $50, WeWantPicks.com/bets. Sign up with any one of our betting partners. Make a deposit. We will send you $50 as a thank you. New content 7 days a week. We'll see you every single day.
Yeah. Live tomorrow. I'll be live tomorrow. Live the
That's
video
Wednesday.
Thursday. What?
Not everybody's watching live.
Okay. Yeah. Wednesday, I am live. Well, I might have some cards to open, might not, but we're definitely going to talk about bets specifically. Thursday, Lock of the Week video. Friday, our betting videos, all sorts of with the Monkey Night or the DraftKings. We got the prize picks. We got all sorts of stuff. Saturday, I will be live for the fights, prelims, and if it goes well, maybe the main card as well. Sunday, quick picks. And Angelo's quick pick video. Monday, my quick pick video. Tuesday, we're going to be live. Wednesday, I'll be live next week. Thursday, we do the Lock of the Week video.
You did it.
I was waiting to see when you're going to stop. By the way, MMA Database apologized to you. I don't know if you saw that or not.
Yeah, I got to process. Okay. Thank you all very much. Genuinely appreciate it. All in good fun. We'll see you every single day with brand new content.